Hi, welcome to Playback Mansion. Today I'm being joined by Dave from My Own Devices, a fantastic YouTube channel. It's one of the original ones that I started watching. So I'm happy to have you here today. Welcome.
Pleased to be here.
So we were talking a little bit before I hit record about why you started your channel, what your goal was with it, and I think maybe my viewers would like to hear that too.
Well, it's simple. It was January, like late December 2019. I started thinking about it, and I didn't know anything about making videos or editing videos. But I had started buying hi-fi. Got back into hi-fi again for like the previous year or so, year and a half. I started buying some vintage gear. Because that's what I remembered from my youth. So I started seeing stuff at Craigslist and buying up Marantz receivers and things like that because that's what I owned as a teen. And just said, you know what, I had a few ideas for videos, and I got a hold of some turntables and things like that. So I just started to make a few videos. If you go all the way back to early January 2020, you can see my early attempts at editing and making videos. And they were fun, and I'd actually got a lot of views. I initially got my first year or two. It really, my channel grew because vintage audio was huge. Initially, I got quite a early popularity with my videos because I actually put a lot of thought into them. I had stories and went outside, and I was being quite creative, having dream sequences, and we'll go, walking outside, standing by lakes while I did the videos, and doing stuff like that. And then eventually I settled into just doing them from from my room. But my purpose of the video of the channel was to me getting back into into the whole pastime. I don't like calling it hobby. My
Hmm.
lifestyle, getting back into it after being away for like almost 20 years, and just trying out stuff. And there's a lot of progress and evolution in my channel. I didn't just stay doing the same thing. It changed a lot because as my curiosity went different directions, and every time I discovered something, I would make a video about it. And people started sending me gear to review, so I turned into kind of like almost like a review channel for every now and then. And I try to mix it up, do like editorial pieces, or I've made a few videos where I kind of like a couple of videos where I kind of poked at a couple other YouTubers online.
Oh yeah, those
And
are always fun to watch.
well, I had a take. All of a sudden, I just would sit there, I watch a video, and all of a sudden, an idea would come in. I have a take on this. It might make a good video, and I would just shoot it
Yeah.
that day and put it out there, and it got quite a bit of thing. And I don't do that very often, but I'm all over the place. Vinyl, CD, streaming. I don't not want. I love vinyl, and I talk about my love for buying records again, and how fun that makes this. Being an enthusiast, it just takes it to the next level. Just to me, just streaming is kind of dull. I understand why people do it, and at first I thought it was the bee's knees. And I thought, wow, I have all these records around. When you just have nothing. I even mentioned that. I would do like, why do you have all these records around? They're so heavy and bulky and expensive when you could just stream for like $15 a month and you have
Hmm.
everything at your fingertips. And then I started realizing I bought a turntable and I saw a cheap turntable and I said, oh, and the guy threw in some records. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. I went to a record store and all of a sudden the old memories started coming back.
Yeah.
And I just dove right in. And I'm not in the vinyl community because vinyl community is full of kind of weird people, but I enjoy certain individuals there.
Hmm.
They're kind of flaky at times. So I dipped my toe into the vinyl community a couple years ago and then realized it's as much as I enjoy and I'm friends with people in the vinyl community.
Hmm.
Overall, I think there's some people there that some of the whole opinions and stuff I can't go with. So I've just every now and then poke my nose in and
And you're talking about the online vinyl community.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, the
yeah.
people in person are great.
Yeah, and I get a big kick out of talking to record store owners because they're always
Oh yeah.
interesting people, and they have knowledge that's spread out over years. A lot of them, they never converted back when Napster came online. They never converted away from vinyl, and you get some real true believers, and it's fun to talk to people who are passionate about music, whatever their take is on it.
I hit record stores every week. I have like a rotation of about half a dozen record stores in my
Oh
area.
wow,
And I
you're
try to
lucky.
hit, I went to one yesterday on my way home from work. And in Jacksonville and St. Augustine, generally, Florida. So there's a few good, really good record stores in Jacksonville, and there's a couple in St. Augustine. And whenever I travel, like I was in Tampa a few weeks ago for the Hi-Fi show in Tampa, and of course there's about two or three record stores in Tampa I always hit. I never miss. And it was one of my favorite ones of all time is in Clearwater, and
Hmm.
so I always go there. So that's real fun. Whenever I travel, I drive up north. I go through Noble Records in Charlotte, and I hit the couple up in Syracuse and Rochester, upstate New York. There's a really good record stores up there, and I've been to a lot of record stores, and to me that's fun.
Yeah.
It's always that you never know what you're going to find. It's like there's always this kind of excitement. Maybe I'll find the grail or the record I've been looking for, or somebody underpriced really valuable record, and I'll even go to antique malls, right?
Yeah, I do that too.
Poke around in there, or thrift stores,
Hmm.
and now that I get lucky there. I also buy the CDs too. I do the same deal with CDs.
Yeah, and I saw you reviewing CD players lately. That little SMSL was
Well,
it?
yeah, I have a couple old CD players lying around. Like, oh, I'll show you. Here's
Mhm.
one that's sitting on my desk right here. This is the MoFi Asia by Steely Dan,
Oh,
right?
nice.
And I found this at an antique mall for $8.
Not bad.
This is like a $50 CD.
Wow.
So every now and then I get lucky. So uh, it's gold, right? It's gold, 24 karat gold disc. And
That's cool.
yeah, it's very cool. That kind of stuff is fun too. You never know what you're gonna find.
Yeah, and one thing I like about record stores too, and I guess antique malls, in the same token, is there's so much personality there. You're not going to some corporate chain where everything's been designed by committee. Like it's basically going into somebody's bedroom where they have posters all over the wall, and they want to tell you about the last thing they heard. So it's an infectious type of enthusiasm in my
Yeah, yeah.
feeling.
And what I like is one of the record stores I go to. I'm kind of friendly with the owner, and he'll say, "Oh, I just got a new collection. It's in the back room. You want to go see it?"
Nice.
Right? I get like maybe first dibs or early dibs on this collection that hasn't been picked through yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciate that a lot because I've scored a few good stuff doing that before it goes out for the masses to. So that's always nice to get. First thing you do when you walk into a record store is look for the new arrivals bin,
Right.
right? See what just came in the night before or day or two before. Because if you just go in the regular bins, there's never hardly ever anything in there. It's
Yeah.
just the regular dross that you see at every other record store in the nation.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a little off topic, but I feel like record stores are the opposite of what AI is. Like it's the most human experience. You're getting physical media. It was pressed, like 50 years ago by somebody who recorded it in an analog environment. And you're talking to a human being who's got all the multidimensionality of anybody. You contrast that with killer robots being run by AI, and I think it's really a good way to feel like a human being.
Well, they're historic. They're artifacts. These
Yeah.
records. Because another thing is that a lot of people don't. They just shop for the records online. They go
Yep.
through record stores, Amazon, through the, like Rhino. You can buy stuff directly from them or Analog Productions and stuff like that. And I could I could sit home and just go on Discogs or eBay and buy all these records if I wanted
Yeah.
to. What's the fun in that?
Yeah.
You have to get out and just it's the hunt. It's the fun of it.
Hmm.
I could have bought all these records online and never left my house.
Right.
It's no fun. I don't meet people. I don't talk to people. I don't set. It's the feeling of flipping through the thing, and all of a sudden a record pops up. You're like, oh my God! I've never seen this one for sale, and it's only what, $30?
Well, and the way it's presented too, because I forget about a lot of bands that I used to listen to in high school or college, and then I'll see like an album that I, used to have on CD that I was enamored with, and it's like, oh, I have to have this, like it's like it's almost like going through an old photo album where you, I at least still get flooded with all these positive memories of. I mean, some of our viewers will remember the '90s were a pretty fun time for most of us. The nostalgia is it's very real when you're in those type of places.
'90s was an insane decade. Think about all the stuff that went down in the '90s, pre-internet.
Yeah,
They, I mean, they kind of allowed people to start selling things on the internet in '95, but
yeah,
really didn't catch on until maybe the turn of the century, where it really started to catch on.
yeah. My eBay account started in '99.
Me too. I started my eBay account in '99, but the '90s were insane. The music,
Mm-hmm.
politics, the world stuff, the
Yeah.
tabloid TV. It was just the economy. It was just there was just so much going on in the '90s. My illustration career just was the '90s. Really, it was my peak period of time in my life, personally. And
Now that was fascinating to me that you mentioned you were an illustrator, and then you even moved all the way to the UK to follow that profession. Can you tell me a little bit about how that
well,
worked
after
out?
I went to art college in Philadelphia, and my goal was to be a freelance illustrator. And I'm from the New York area, and the center of the illustration world in this country was New York, and all the big
Mm-hmm.
magazines, newspapers, advertising agencies, record companies, everybody was in New York. So I had portfolios that I would take the bus in or drive into New York City and drop off. I had multiple portfolios so I could drop them off at various places. And then I'd have to go to the art galleries or hang out in Manhattan, wait till like 4 or 5 o'clock and pick them up and then go home. Very rarely got to meet the art directors and the people who ran these departments because I was so competitive. I go into the lobby of this, of Forbes magazine, for example, and which
Mm-hmm.
was really cool. Forbes magazine had this Fabergé eggs on display in their lobby.
Wow.
That was
In
very cool.
Manhattan, or where was that
Yeah, in
office?
Manhattan. Yeah,
Wow.
they had Fabergé eggs on display because Malcolm Forbes owned like four of them or whatever,
Yeah.
right? But I would drop them off at the in the lobby, and there I see a stack of other portfolios from other illustrators and photographers who left theirs behind. You never even knew if they looked at them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very frustrating. I would get jobs every now and then, but I was still living at home with my parents. And then my friend suggested, let's go to London from college. And I said, yeah, well, things aren't really working out for me. I was working at a florist, delivering flowers and working at a sporting goods store to make ends meet. But I ended up going to London
Yeah.
and brought my portfolio. I didn't have a work permit. And I just was freelance. So I walked around London with and people would see me. They'd be like, oh, yeah, sure. I called the Times of London or the big newspapers or big magazines that were popular there. Oh, yeah, sure. Come on in. We'll talk. I'm like, wow.
Nice.
In New York, I never got to meet anybody.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, within 2 weeks, I was getting work and things really started to roll. And I ended up staying a total of 9 years.
Wow.
And I had a good run, had some success, got some recognition, met some cool people, met my wife there,
Oh, that's great.
and brought her back to America in the late '90s.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but then the illustration business died; it fizzled out.
Yeah.
The digital age kind of killed it gradually. I had to figure out something else to do.
I see a lot of people in the audio space are also really interested in like photography or other visual arts, like I mean, illustrating, painting, for example. And so I always wonder, since they're both sensory processes, I always wonder. I mean, even thinking about album covers, and how that's like an art form in itself.
I
I
did a
just
few.
always wonder about that overlap and what we
Well,
can learn.
Well, number one, when you're painting, and when I was in my, I had my studio,
Mm-hmm.
had my easel and my paints and my paper and my board and everything. I had music, always had music playing,
Mm-hmm.
always had music. There was no podcasting back then. I had music playing. So music and making art is a natural thing to do, have music playing in the background while you're painting, right? Because when you're painting, when you're really into it, time stands still. There's no time. Time doesn't pass. You'll be in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of a painting and you look at the clock and it's 3 a.m. and you're like, oh crap, I didn't, I'm totally engrossed because I had the deadlines and I had to get this stuff done. And had late nights, many late nights, just to hit a deadline. Because in the morning, in England, I'd have to deliver the painting in person because it was such a short deadline. I couldn't have a delivery guy pick it up the day or two before.
Yeah.
A courier. Sometimes they send a motorbike courier up to my apartment, and he would put it on the back of his painting on the back of his motorbike. I'd have to wrap it up really carefully. Sometimes it was still wet because I worked in oil paint,
Mm-hmm.
and they would deliver. Sometimes I had to deliver it myself, and
Yeah.
bleary eye getting on the train, and walking from the tube station up to the office, like looking very scruffy, where the receptionist thought I was like a
Traveling hobo.
no, oh, you're here to pick, they thought I was a courier or something, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
In an ad agency, right? Because these are
Yeah.
fancy ad agencies, right? But
Mm-hmm.
there's like the suits, and then there's the creative people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Creative people went to school and went to work in shorts and had wine in,
Yeah.
in the office, and played their boombox. And there was a lot of sitting around waiting for some things to happen. And I would go see them. But I remember being mistaken for like a courier or a taxi driver or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to see no, no, I'm here to see blah, blah, blah in his office. But yeah, I would be tired. It was, long hours, short deadlines. That was the thing about being an illustrator. You had to work with very short deadlines. You had to do a whole painting in like 3 days, 4 days. But from, from getting a call, coming up with an idea, getting a sketch approved, to rent painting the thing and then delivering it.
And it
It
was
was
all
very
physical
tight.
media. It's such a different world we
Physical
live in.
media.
Yeah. Now you just click chat GPT, draw me this, and
Oh, that's kill. Even though a lot of that stuff is garbage, looks horrible. I
mm-hmm.
can imagine in the right hands, maybe they can make something decent. But yeah, you don't need
Yeah.
ability.
Maybe AI will get better, and it just seems kind of soulless now. One thing that was a little concerning to me, I watched this guy. He's kind of an album reviewer, kind of a musician, and he reviews songs. He's named Uncle Judy. He's really funny. You should check him out. And he was talking about how you can have AI write songs and then you perform them. I mean, this is just something that he stumbled on while he was live streaming. And you would have no idea that AI wrote the song. Like if AI performs a song, you'd know because of the perfection of it or whatever. It's that it has a hard time coming through naturally. But to me, that was like the scariest part. Is we're being like the deliverers of the AI message in a way, you know. So it's like putting a human face on something that's the opposite of humanity, something digital.
So he would create a song and then learn it and then
Well,
play
he,
it.
he didn't do it. He just noticed because he was
Oh,
comparing like AI
I'm sure it's
songs
been
to
done. I'm
because
sure
he's an
people are
actual
doing it right now. I'm
musician.
sure of it.
Oh
I'm
yeah, I'm
sure.
sure it's happening, but it's like
Because
a Trojan
it's,
horse. It's like a terrifying thing to me.
well, it's an idea generating machine.
Right.
So if you're kind of lost for an idea, even painters could do it, or anybody write a book or a
Yeah.
story. You would say, ChatGPT, come up with a theme, a title for a song, and
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll come up with a funny title for a song, or a clever, or romantic. That's
Yeah.
really original. You can give all kinds of prompts to guide it, and then it comes up with a title. And I know people have done that in the past. They come up with a title, and then they write a song to go with the title.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no rules to how to write a song, but to be able to, but you came up with the idea yourself. You're not asking the machine to come up with an idea for you. So it's going to get sketchy, I think, in the next few decades,
Yeah. Absolutely. Well,
because we do as hi-fi enthusiasts, we appreciate, and music enthusiasts, we appreciate the human element in all aspects of things. And for people trying to get around that or try to think that there's a, and kids today, they don't, to ask them to come up with a story. I remember I made a assignment once to make us write a simple story about a topic, and they were just
Yeah.
like, it's too
No
much work.
creativity muscle.
They don't want to. They have the muscle. They don't want to use it.
Mm,
They don't want to use it. It hurts. It hurts their. They don't want to use their brains. Not all
yeah.
kids, but a lot. I'm not saying all kids are like this. There's sure there's still plenty of creative people out there. There always will be. But there's certain ones that are like, I want to be passive. Everything I do, I don't want to read a book because that's. I want to watch the movie or watch the TV show because it's a passive. They want to consume things passively.
Hmm.
And I tell them, I said, if you read a book or even an audiobook, listen to an audiobook, which I like to do, you still have to do a lot of the work. You got to
Yeah.
imagine what they look like, whatever the setting is, you have to picture that in your head.
Yeah.
When they describe something, you have to do the work.
Yeah.
And that engages your brain.
Hmm.
Whereas watching a movie, they do all the work for you. The look, the atmosphere, the colors, the characters, it's all done for you. And
Yeah.
it's fun sometimes when you just want to not think, but you still you're wasting aspect of your mind, which is important to
Well,
use.
and I've even heard a thing even worse than strictly consuming movies and that type of media is that now when they make like Netflix shows or whatever, they have to restate what's going on over and over again because people's attention spans are getting so short and they're half in their phones while they're watching something.
Oh
And
yeah.
so it used to be you'd watch this like beautiful epic movie and the subplot would be it would just unravel itself over time and it would have all this emotional weight and meaning, but now it's like they restate it explicitly like what's happening. It's like watching Sunday morning cartoons where you gotta hit the viewer in the face with it because they're so unsophisticated. Well, I don't want to call them unsophisticated, but it's just a short attention span, and I've noticed personally that my attention span is much shorter. I think this movement back to even CDs where you could just listen to a whole album and you don't have something playing in the background and you're not hitting, next or shuffle or whatever. I think it's something that takes like a conscious effort to do because of the way that we're being pulled in different directions all the time.
Well, a couple of things. The CD, one of the things people liked about CD is that you could skip over the songs you didn't like that much, and that was a big
That's true.
attraction of it. The other point is you talked about is like the rap against MTV, which I was
Hmm.
part of the MTV generation, was that it did the visuals for you again. It was a much more passive thing. They were telling you what you saw what the people looked like, and they told the story that they wanted to tell you, and the setting and the mood was dictated to you by the video. That was the rap against it at the time.
Yeah.
But because before audio, there weren't many videos, so music was purely an audio experience, not a visual as well, unless you went to go see something live.
Yeah.
But or we used to watch live shows on TV like the Midnight Special or Don Kirshner's rock concert or any or shows where you actually got to see your favorite performers, do it live. Or
Yeah.
in England, they had Top of the Pops or shows like that, or Old Grey Whistle Test, things like that. Yeah, it's nobody knows where this is going to go. Us old guys like me, we're still holding on.
Well, I read something that kind of blew my mind the other day, which is that the Stone Age lasted like 3.5 million years. So like 98% of modern human existence was defined by just stone tools. And then I don't know if I have the numbers right. So check me in the comments if I'm wrong.
3.5 seems a little long, but okay.
Okay, so, I mean you're a teacher, so I'm not gonna argue about that.
I'm a
But
history and
the
science. Yeah.
Oh, okay, very cool. But then in recent history, I don't think people appreciate just how fast the technology has ramped up and how dramatically it changes our lives. And I mean, even if it's hundreds of thousands of years using stone tools, like how fast do you think? going from one stone tool to another probably took many thousands of years. And here we are in one lifetime, just getting generations and generations of technological advancement just compressed into this unbelievably short span of time. And we're still these primitive people. If you want to be honest with yourself, like we're still set up to run like the Stone Age people were.
We
It's
haven't evolved very much, no,
right,
but
exactly.
physically. Yeah, but if you look at the population of the world for like
Hmm.
200,000 years, it was flat. It was flat.
Right.
Maybe the whole population of the world is just a few million people. And then it just, if you look in the, since maybe the 20th century or 18, 19, it just spikes straight up. It's just crazy.
Hmm.
Population goes to 8, 9 billion.
What part of New York are you from?
I'm from northern New Jersey, just a few
Okay.
miles, like 30 miles from New York City.
The New York viewers will be curious about that, I'm sure. So, do you feel like what we've lost mostly is the participatory aspect of the media that we consume? You're talking about visualizing things that you're
So
reading.
fragmented now, so
Okay.
fragmented with social media. And social media is just designed, even YouTube. YouTube is designed to keep you in, just keep you watching, keep you
Right.
watching. So one thing I noticed, and I was going to point this out in the future video, is that when you get onto YouTube, what's the first thing it shows you, like on your phone app, for example, is their homepage, what they want you to see,
Hmm.
right? If you look up how to repair a lawnmower, like last week, you're still getting lawnmower repair. Even though you figured it out and fixed your lawnmower,
Right.
you're still getting lawnmower videos in your feed. You watch one little thing about, I watched the video with Aubrey Plaza
Hmm.
because she's quirky, kind of funny girl.
Oh, I
And
like her.
back in the
Yeah.
day when she was on that show, Parks and Recreation, I clicked on it once, like a few weeks ago, like a few months
Hmm.
ago, and I'm still getting in my feed Aubrey Plaza interviews. But
Yeah.
so my point is this: is that they want to keep you watching. What I do is I immediately go to my feed, my subscription feed,
Yeah. It's smart.
because those are the channels I subscribe to. I want to see,
Hmm.
and then if I've seen all of them, then I'll go back to the homepage, right, or do a search.
Yeah.
But they always take you to the homepage. If you don't click on your subscription tab, you're gonna miss some videos. Because I
Hmm.
get people all the time saying, "Oh, you haven't made I haven't seen one of your videos in months. Where you been?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "What are you talking about? I just made a video like yesterday
Right.
or last week. I've been making them pretty regularly over the past 5, 6 years. Oh, it's been a couple years since I've seen your video. Well, you need to go on that subscription tab, or maybe you don't check your YouTube very often.
Yeah.
But that's frustrating when
Yeah.
you put a video out and it doesn't get very many views, and you even though you put a ton of work into it, and you're like, what happened? And then a video,
Yeah.
as you know, you made no effort on, just blows up.
That's a good point for me to remind people to check out my own devices if you're not already a fan. I mean, if you're a fan of my 440 subscriber channel, I'm sure you already are aware of my own devices. But it's consistently been entertaining and enlightening content. So I'm
I
glad
appreciate it.
even if the algorithm is unfair to you at times, I'm glad that you've been
Well,
keeping it up.
I think this is what happened to me. I gradually got away from vintage audio, and I just, you know what? I think I'm gonna move to the 80s and 90s. So I started getting stuff from the 80s and 90s, and going from receivers in the 80s, everything went separate.
Hmm.
Everyone was buying separates in the 80s and 90s, right? It was separate preamps, separate tuners, separate amps. So you had even the cheap rack systems all tried to look like a rack of separates, right?
Right.
That was the style. That was the trend, was separate. So and those usually stuff made in the 80s is actually better, sounds better. It's more reliable, it's easier to fix, and 90s too. And I
Hmm.
think that's where the value is. And there's some garbage, just like any time. There was a lot of
Sure.
garbagey stuff in the 80s and 90s. But there's some really good. Conrad Johnson made some really cool stuff in the 80s.
Hmm.
There's these top brands. You can get these top brands for relatively pretty good deals. So I moved
Okay.
into that. And I got rid of
Yeah.
all my vintage receivers. I don't have a single vintage receiver anymore.
Wow.
And now I'm moving. And now I'm enjoying the more modern stuff now. So I really can appreciate the modern stuff. But my views went way down, and my subscribers
Hmm.
went. So But
Well, yeah, you
that,
abandoned vintage as it was getting more trendy. So
I just
it
bored. I
happened.
just became bored with it.
Well, this has been really cool, Dave. I'm glad we got to breach a lot of interesting topics and to learn
They're
about your
all over the
life.
place. We're all over the
Yeah, but
place.
no, this is the kind of thing that I'm interested in doing because I like the personalities, I like the passion that people have about things, and so I have a feeling a lot of my viewers will enjoy watching this from start to finish.
I am obsessed with this topic. It's
Yeah,
and I don't know why I became obsessed with it. I used to be obsessed with other things, but for
right.
the last 5 years, I've become totally obsessed with hi-fi gear. And a lot of the brain cycles in my head every day is devoted to music and hi-fi. And,
Yeah,
well, music especially. As I talked about vinyl earlier, I love collecting records and CDs. So that's a whole other aspect, not just the gear. But sometimes it's the gear, sometimes it's the music. Sometimes I'm listening to the music, sometimes I'm listening to the gear. It's not
yeah.
just one or the other. Sometimes you got to listen to the gear, right?
And it's all fun. Like
Yeah.
I don't see any point in having snobbery over like people being gear junkies versus music junkies or whatever.
It goes together. All right. You get a new phono preamp, what are you going to do?
Listen to music.
Get all your records out again and listen to their
Right.
favorite records on it, right?
That's right.
Um, Getting new records. Listen, I'm going to try it on different gear or whatever. But
Yep.
getting a new piece of gear makes me get all my records out again, or my stream, or using my get a new DAC. I'm going to be streaming. Or not, well, I don't stream that much. I have everything on CD. I use Room.
Yep.
So getting to do something in your system, trying it out, really gets the juices flowing and gets you wanting to listen to more music and trying out new speaker. I got some new speakers in here that just arrived, and I've been trying breaking those in and trying those out. So as I said, one feeds the other thing. It's great.
It's a great pastime. Well, thanks again, Dave. And if you
Sure.
haven't liked or subscribed to my channel, please do that now. And I love all of your comments, and I read every one. Of course, check out my own devices. I'll link to your page below. I guess I'll see you at Expona probably.
I'll be there. I
All
bought
right.
I got my Airbnb booked and I got my plane ticket.
See you
All
there.
right.